Why did it look like you were moving it like a frame per minute over there for a second? I'm going to motion track everything. Whole thing.
Oh, okay. In that case.
How shook would you be if I uploaded this? You didn't hear from me for like 3 or 4 days straight. And
You show up on Monday with just dark circles under your eyes, and you go, I motion tracked the video.
it's perfect.
And it's a frame perfect, because it's the only way you can do it.
I
really.
motion tracked it so well that I was able to stabilize you. You're just in place.
Somehow, I'm in one place, even though I'm all moving in many different directions.
Continuously shifting and distorting you so that you're in the exact same space. It just looks like you're vibrating slightly.
So fucking stupid.
Oh, man.
Hello and welcome to the 146th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined by our other host, Jordan.
That's me, baby.
Jordan.
So,
Jordan, today's a bit silly.
yeah.
A bit weird.
Why is that?
Because it's 3:56 p.m. currently.
Yes. It's late in the day.
Normally we record right in the morning.
Yeah, like 10:30 a.m.
But before we jump into that, we put the show on a few platforms, a couple of them.
Somehow we've been authorized to, yes. Yes, yeah, we put the show on Apple Podcast.
We are allowed to broadcast our voices on many platforms, unfortunately, and we're going to make it your problem.
Yes. So, find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and the RSS feed, all linked below. And as always, you can contact us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me. Send your comments, your questions, concerns, and death threats. And there's also Instrument to Talk. Our ex-boss made fun of me for constantly saying, we'll revitalize it, and then not doing that. So we'll revitalize it eventually.
We got some stuff in the works, okay?
Got some stuff cooking.
We're not going to talk about it just
A
yet.
couple Salisbury steaks
It's
cooking.
a bit early.
We're kind of like pre-alpha at the moment.
We're in the
concept
we're
phase.
beta
Yeah.
testing.
I say we're not even like pre-alpha. We're concept phase. We're storyboarding this bitch. Like
We had a big storyboard. We were drawing little sketches.
Yep.
Like this is the fucking,
Many phallic objects were drawn
like
as well.
this is the gay episode where we pretend we're gay.
That
That's
was
all
every episode of the season.
All the episodes actually.
Yeah. So yeah, we're storyboarding. Chris,
Jordan,
you been up to anything?
You know, I'll be honest with you, Jordan. I don't want to fucking be here. I'm
so tired. I don't want to be here, man.
Last night, I had a rough time last night. I was
Chris, I told you not to eat the magic berries. I told you.
we had got Chinese food for lunch.
Oh, at work, yeah.
At work, and I had extra. I'm like, when we get Chinese food, I always get 2 meals because I only get something for home.
Of course, it makes sense.
And
Save the trip.
You know, Alex follows in these footsteps as well. He bought like fucking 6 weeks worth of food.
That's a typical Alex moment with takeout.
He's like, okay, I want large fried rice, large chow mein, chicken fingers, crab rangoons. He bought so much shit. So you know, that was that. But I had this chow mein left over, and I was eating it last night. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna eat half of this, and then like maybe I'll have the other half later, maybe not. It depends. And I had like the half. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I was like hanging out for a while. Then I had the other half, and I'm like, man, that was probably a mistake. And I went to bed, and I woke up this morning just like, oh,
Worse than a hangover.
It was half Chinese food sickness, half hangover. Just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Dude, just probably 2 pounds of Chinese food and whiskey is not a good combination.
Dude, the amount of salt you must have consumed.
Dude, I'm surprised I wasn't swelling.
Dude.
I'm surprised I wasn't like just retaining all the water.
Jesus Christ. And then the real question I have to ask though is, all right, the boys ate Chinese food. Did Alex have another incident with the Chinese food?
No.
All right.
No.
So he's improving.
He is improving. He can at least eat Chinese food and drink stuff at the same time without getting a piece of liquid lodged in his throat and vomiting all over the table.
My table.
Yeah. That's a Jordan's house kind of
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex fucking just took a sip of water and threw up all over my
Fucking
table.
reset.
That was the funniest part. Was being like, bro, factory reset.
I was like trying when that happened. I was like concerned, but I was like, hang on, this is funny, but only if he's not dying. So I gotta make sure he's gonna survive first, and then I can laugh.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go into Heimlich position when that happened, because the problem is, right, when someone's coughing, they're chilling. When they start gasping for air and it's
because there's air.
Yeah, there's air moving,
coughing.
Right? So if he's not coughing, if he goes, which was the initial sound was a, so I'm like, oh no, bro's choking. And then when he finally threw up, I'm like, he's fine. He just has to get it out. Like he's fine.
We did a small Heimlich demonstration when I did my time in the health assisting shop at our school.
Yep.
And
Chris fucking crushed the baby's ribs.
Oh, the teacher was horrified with the ferocity. I got this fucking little ball out of the mannequin's throat.
Oh my god.
She was like, that would work, but you would really injure someone.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jordan. Would you rather be injured or dead?
If you asked me on a normal day, I would say injured, but today I might say dead.
Today's dead.
I might say dead.
Like broken ribs or death? What's your
probably
thoughts?
broken ribs? Yeah.
Probably take broken ribs.
I can still play the Steam Deck with broken ribs.
You can walk off broken ribs.
Yeah.
Because you can't really do anything about broken ribs. They're just kind of broken.
Yeah. They just hang out.
And because they're always moving too, so it's apparently not a good time, but probably better than being dead.
Probably. Yeah. The Heimlich. If Chris did the Heimlich to me, I feel like I would look at a tube of toothpaste. Like where you're trying to get the icky bits out of the bottom and out the cap. I would just look like this shriveled husk. You'd drop me down and I would just be at the fucking torso from the bottom of my ribs up. That's all that'd be left. You do the Heimlich and I shit out the object.
Your fucking organs all up here come out your mouth. The organs all down here come out your ass. Immediately.
And then with it, the piece of food that rolls out with the organs. I'm like, thank you.
Thank you. And you go and suck them all back in.
Oh, fuck, man. That's heinous. If we ever get a budget, that's the first CGI film.
Yeah,
that's
if we ever get a budget. Yeah, I don't want to be here today. I'll be honest.
Yeah, dude, here's some context.
If this episode seems like it's phoned in, it's because it is.
It literally is. I had D&D last night. Went to bed around.
Oh, but then sorry.
No, go ahead.
Cut you off. I fixed my ailment by having a McDonald's breakfast this morning.
Oh, I mean that is the cure for everything.
I was like, I woke up and I'm like, oh my god, I feel terrible.
What would go well with my terribleness?
And I was like washing out all the chow mein containers and I was like, this is gonna be terrible. I was like, you know what? I don't even want to think about Chinese food at the moment. But what would be really nice? A fucking sausage egg McMuffin.
All right, but do you ever get hotcakes? Them shits smack. They're tiny, but them shits smack.
I've not gotten hotcakes, just the hotcakes breakfast. If I'm gonna have like a hotcake adjacent thing, I'll have a McGriddle.
I was gonna say McGritty is the fucking way to go.
McGritty is good, but I feel like it's too rich to just have as a breakfast on like most occasions. So I'm like a sausage egg McMuffin kind of guy.
Yeah, my first experience with a McGriddle was the result of a friend of ours, Mr. fucking Putestain, the one who fucking got covered in vomit. He told me what a McGriddle was, and I'd always heard about it. And I'm like, that shit just looks like dookie. And then he said it was a pancake, and I was like, wait a minute. A pancake? And I fucking, oh my god, he ruined me. He straight ruined me.
I eat 500 McGriddles a day.
He took my McGritty virginity, dude. Like I'm just saying. Like, fuck, dude.
You can't go wrong with a McGritty, though.
You can't, dude. It's just like you get the fucking nice buttery syrup, like, just baked into it. Like, oh, man.
And you get that folded, like, styrofoam texture egg.
Dude, it's perfect. Yeah. Like, you get a static shock while you're eating it because it's literally styrofoam.
Yeah, it is a very styrofoam. Actually, some McGriddle lore. It was a McGriddle that I was finishing eating when I destroyed my tire.
The most recent time?
Yeah.
You hit the curb?
Yeah,
Or,
I got
rolled over
a
the curb, rather?
I got a McDonald's breakfast. I was in the parking lot, and I was just fucking like, oh, I gotta make it to class. And I held this McGriddle, and I fucking was like, all right, time to get out of here.
I love the idea of just like, you have a McGritty in one hand, you're like trying to downshift, and then you just like, I like to think you didn't do anything, you just stalled, and we're like,
Son of a bitch.
motherfucker. You just go,
That's not like a far departure of how it actually was. I was just like, tire light's not on, so I probably didn't blow it up, so I'm fine.
yeah, that'll happen. I almost racked my wheel the other day on the curb in the Yaris, which not that it would have mattered. It would have fucking folded the whole car up if I did that anyway. But I was trying to take a turn, and this big fucker in his dumbass dually truck was like trying to turn into the oncoming lane and like just took up so much of the road, so I had to fucking do the mid-squeeze. Luckily, the Yaris is about the size of a hamster ball.
A little McSqueeze.
So I was like, think skinny thoughts, bro, and I fucking squeezed beside him. But I swear, like, I heard the atoms go past each other when
You heard the atoms brush each other?
yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
It was fucking close. I'm like, don't you dare let me hit my Steelies, bro. You know how expensive good Steelies are nowadays?
Just fucking, like, aren't they just spray painted black?
I don't even know if they're spray painted. They might just be like a fucking, yeah, I don't even know. I don't think they're spray painted, but they're just, I think, factory painted black.
Oh man.
Every fucking Yaris I see has that.
Great.
Like, has that same Steely. Some people put hubcaps or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks cool. But like the fact that there's Steelies back there, it's not even worth it.
Fair.
Like rims, that's fine. I would put rims on the Yaris if I cared about it. That's fine. But like, I'm not gonna. If I put hubcaps on it, I feel like it's like putting a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound.
My my Hyundai had hubcaps.
So did the Cobalt when I first started. Remember those shits that were like on the side? They had like one thing holding it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cobalt had some meaty hubcaps. There was like chunks taken out of it from the person hitting a curb.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was brutal.
The pre-rim days.
Yeah. And yeah, I never hit those hubcaps against anything ever. And then I get the rims 2 days later. Fucking Taco Bell drive-thru does me in.
That drive-thru's a killer, man.
Dude, I'm gonna go back there and just punch the drive-thru right in the face. Like, just start.
Just drive-thru. You're gonna fucking excavate it from the ground and beat the shit out of it.
Could you imagine? You don't hear from me again. You're like, man, what the fuck's going on with this guy? And you just see a news report of just me in the drive-thru just punching the shit out of the ground like Omni-Man. Just digging a hole.
There's a man out... I'm here at Taco Bell where there's a man outside with a shovel attempting to dig up the drive-thru because, quote, it fucked up his tire.
It's like Animal Crossing when you try to dig on stone.
This is what the man had to say about the situation. I was in the fucking drive-thru and I smashed my fucking rib on the fucking drive-thru. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill the drive-thru. It's gone. I'm digging it up. I'm taking it home.
I just pulled a machine gun and started shooting the ground.
You draw the fucking 380 out of your pocket, start fucking firing bullets into the ground.
Start fucking curb stomping at like, yeah, get fucked, bitch. I realized all the bullets ricocheted, took out like 3 people. I'm like, fuck.
Oh, shit. My bad.
I remember, oh my god, that reminds me of a video I saw on Reddit of this fucking, this must have been just some out there country. And this dude just has a gun and he puts it right up to a stone and fires. And
Why?
It ricochets right back into his leg. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Why would you do it? Did you think it was just gonna soak up the bullet like a video game?
He thought it was gonna show the fucking particle effect, the fucking little hole. Like, oh, look at
Bro was out here with the fucking gun looking at the rock like, my life is like a video game. Oh, fuck!
my fucking feet.
My femoral artery!
Yeah, that's about all he said, and then he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, fuck, dude. But, yeah. The fucking hubcaps, man. I would never with the RS. I like to ride it as it is. Frame rot and all.
Frame rot and all. Hey, you know who should take a trip in the Yaris?
Who?
Is our now boss.
Yeah, can we get a petition going? I'm going to put a Q&A. I'll remember this, I'm sure, on Spotify, because you can do the Q&A thing. Yes or no, should our boss ride in the Yaris?
I'm erring on the side of yes.
I mean, I think it's an overwhelming yes.
Because currently, maybe we should enter negotiations, because currently the offer is, if Jordan gets an iPhone, then he'll do it.
I've tried to negotiate. He seems like he's pretty stern. on it. He doesn't. He and I quote, has been in a Yaris before and doesn't want to. That was end quote. Yeah.
That's. So, I don't know.
When I showed him a list of priorities using Chat GPT, I said, like, what are the good things about a Yaris? What are the bad things? I said, what are the good things and bad things about a rusty Toyota Yaris? And Chat GPT gave me a list. Of the list, when he kind of sorted it by, like, priority, the top 2 priorities were personal preference and safety concerns.
Safety concerns.
That was his two drawbacks.
I had a Chat GPT experience last night. So I was like...
Drunkenly with the Chinese food. How do I get the chow mein out of my stomach?
It was early in the night, so I was thinking about this. I'm like, it's fucked up, right? That we're just apes. We're just monkeys.
Just monkey boys, yeah.
And I was just asking ChatGPT for like monkey facts. And I was looking at like pictures of bonobos and shit. How can you deny evolution when you look at a fucking like chimpanzee? You're like, that's a human.
It's just like dumber.
It's basically a human with more hair, and it's got a more prominent jaw because it's got like a fucking it's got a kind of thing.
A scowl going on. Yeah.
Well, that's a man.
What about the video of like the baby monkey pranking the dad? Have you seen that video that's been going around? I think so. Yeah. It like pokes him in the ass, and the dad's like, oh, and he blames it on the other monkey.
He goes, oh.
And he blames on the other monkey. Like he's very clearly like, I don't know. There's something.
That's a man.
You look at a monkey, and I've always thought this. Like I look at a monkey or like an ape or just something. I'm like, that thing's thinking like I am right now.
Like that thing.
Like on a reduced level.
It's got something going on.
Yeah. Like you make eye contact with like a fucking cheetah, and you go, oh, it wants to eat me. You make eye contact with a monkey, and you're like, dude, he thinks I'm him, and I think he's me. What's going on?
Like, yeah, that's what I think is going on with like killer whales. Like they don't kill people, or they don't usually do it. And the only time they have is when they're in captivity, which is some act of revenge. They fucking drown the zookeepers or whatever at like SeaWorld.
Killer
which
whales. That's like the orca, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So
they're like, fuck you, bitch.
They're so intelligent that I think they just like look at us and they're like, we're kind of the same thing, right? Like we're chilling.
I get you, bro. I get you.
Think about killer whales, not whales at all.
No?
They're dolphins.
Oh, yeah, no.
And how this happened was because they kill and eat different species of whales. They were originally called the whale killer.
And then it
just
did a little 180.
Swapped around.
Yeah. No, that made sense. I could see that. Yeah, the whale killer. Bro, imagine having that kind of title. That's badass.
It kills whales.
You're just this thing, and they're just like, this is a fucking whale killer, bro.
I mean, most humans, like, pre-fucking 1845 could probably say that.
True.
Whale oil was a big industry. I wrote a whole paper about it.
Oh, yeah? For college or in high school?
I wrote it for my history class in college last semester.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Dishonored in the lore of the game, whale oil is, like, the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's actually crazy how the whale oil industry panned out because it was, like, a huge industry. Like, think of like the oil industry.
I was just saying, yeah, think of like oil.
And then some guy in like 1845 or whatever was like, check this shit out, kerosene. And then everyone stopped buying whale oil, and the whole industry crashed.
Yeah.
And it ruined the economy of like the entire East Coast.
Yeah, no, that made sense. Yeah.
So, anyway, that's our whale oil segment.
Yeah, there's the fucking.
We're throwing out some segment ideas. That's the whale oil segment. Tune in next week where I give more whale oil facts.
Yeah, and then the week after that, actually, we're doing bonobos facts.
Bonobos?
Yeah.
Not bonobos or whatever. Is that what you were going for?
Yeah.
Bonobos.
I couldn't remember the name. Oh shit. Yeah, bonobo. Bonobo monkeys, dude. We'll do some. Oh, you want to do like an ocelot fact tonight?
An ocelot fact. Man.
Did you know that an ocelot could solo clap Chris right now?
Dude, ocelots are just little guys.
They are.
They're little dudes. I remember one of the first videos I saw. Oh man, is he even relevant anymore? Fucking Coyote Peterson, the guy who would do like the videos of him getting stung by bullet ants and shit.
I don't think so, no.
Brave Wilderness. He would, one of the first videos of his I saw was him. He found an ocelot in the jungle. He was in the jungle.
What the fuck?
And he found an ocelot, and it was just hanging out with him. It didn't want to leave. It was like...
He's a friendly guy.
It was like climbing on his hat and stuff. Yeah, they're just little dudes.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, man, I just kind of want to find one.
I feel like an ocelot right now as a pet would be like Oscar's like a old 10-year-old Samsung phone, and then the ocelot's like the newest Samsung phone. It's an upgrade, you know?
It's an upgrade in a sense that, like, sure, it is a more it would be more viable in like the wild or at like finding and killing things. But it's gonna piss everywhere in your house.
True.
It's gonna be unstable.
You can't litter box train an ocelot? No.
You might be able to, because, like, have you seen the way any cat acts of any sort of species of cat? They all act like house cats.
Yeah.
They're all the same animal, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you
Even
see
like
like
a tiger. Like.
You see like a wolf and a dog, and you're like, okay, a wolf acts much more menacing, and they're like
More stalkery.
Yeah, they have like different
demeanors.
But you see like a tiger, and you see a little orange house cat, and they do the same thing.
They flip over the same way. They paw the ground the same way. They loaf. Yeah.
It's just the only difference is the tiger's a lot bigger, and instead of meowing, it goes. They make just fucked up noises.
Sounds like it's shitting its pants.
Yeah. like lions roaring. It sounds painful.
It sounds like they're passing a kidney
like,
stone.
It sounded like me this morning.
It's the equivalent of me waking up and just going, fuck, bro,
God
fuck.
damn.
And everything in the area is like, oh my god, man, that's scary. And then it's just like, oh, my kidneys. Shit.
Yeah, so what happened to you this morning? Why are you in...
I'm in dire straits, bro. So I D&D last night, first time in like 3 weeks. Get home around like midnight, 1 a.m., right around there. Go to bed by 1 a.m. anyway. Wake up at 5:30 to do 4-way disc brakes on Letsy's grandfather's Chevy Equinox. And I was fully expecting this to be kind of exactly how it went, which was like some parts easy, some parts bad. And that's pretty much how it went. It was like, all right, we get the car, start working on it, go to take the wheels off, and the front two have multiple strip lugs.
Nice.
I'm like, all right.
Nice.
I'm like, all right, epic gamer move. So I'm fucking around with the fronts for a while. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, all right, I can't even get the wheels off. It got to a point where I said to Alexis, like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not a fucking lug nut expert here. Like, I'm going to make this worse than if he just sends it in. So it got to that point. I took a breather. I go to the back wheels. I'm like, all right, these are doable. Let me do the bats, right? And then disaster strikes, right? Fucking lug nuts off, wheel off, right? Caliper aside, brake bracket off. All right, I'm doing brakes and rotors. I'm going to get the rotor out. First disaster, or first ill omen, right? Chevy was like, let's put a T25 on the rotor.
I'm gonna become president and outlaw Torx.
That's what I said to my dad pretty much. I was like, I don't know why they did this, but they did it. So, mission number 1, right? Objective updated. Find a torque set, right?
I fucking got a little...
Yeah, basically.
A little
like,
objective.
Yeah, I got a fucking side quest pop up. I'm like, all right, I gotta get the torque set. Find a torque set. I couldn't find my dad's drill. Turns out he had it with him on his truck, right? I'm like, I can't find the drill. So I found this little fucking Ryobi 4-volt thing.
Oh my god.
Right? I'm like, I gotta just make this work.
This fucking...
Yeah, I wish. It was more like, right? I put it on. I move it, and I gave it the fucking McTwist, bro. I put it on. As soon as I hit the trigger, as soon as I saw it, like, kind of lock up, I gave it, like, a jerk, and it broke loose. I'm like, fucking man.
You gave it a what?
Gave it a massive jerk. A meaty jerk, dude. Right? Thing breaks loose.
Yep.
Pop the screw out, toss the screw. Got to get the rotor off. Seized on the hub. I'm like, all right.
Of course.
Let me spray some peanut butter blaster on this bitch. Like
Ooh.
a PB blaster, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it. I'm like, it's not coming off. And then I'm like, pry bar. Got it. Pry bar. Slip that in between the back and the fucking brake bracket mount, or I guess the hub mount, technically. Pop it. Instantly comes off. I'm like,
nice.
This is
nice.
fucking mint. This is mint.
Easy.
Right? Pull it off. Well, today I learned
Oh boy.
And I should have known this after the number of times that I've done braids. However, I've never done 4-way disc braids. That's a lie. I've never done 4-way disc braids with a mechanical parking brake. I've only ever done it with an electrical parking brake. Letsy's dad's car.
Okay.
Every other car has been either like a little hand or drum brakes. And let me rephrase that. It's only ever been drum brakes and a little guy, right? I've never had a car that was 4-way disc and had a to put the parking brake on. So when I pull the rotor off, turns out those parking brakes are mini little disc brakes or drum brakes on the inside. They fell out.
Yeah.
The pads ripped off. They were rotted off. So when I pulled the rotor, the actual shoe fell off. There was just the shoe metal behind. I'm like, all right, well, that sucks. I don't have a part for this, but it's all right. We have one more side. We're chilling, right? I'm like, I take a photo of it to show Letsy's dad later. I'm like, hey, we didn't have to tell him they need this replaced. But anyway, proceed with the job. Do that side, put it back together. That's it. Super simple. Cool. Double check. Everything's tight. Switch over to the other rear. Pop it off. The first one took like an hour just because finding tools, figuring out ways to do it. Finally got the whole thing down. Second side takes like 25 minutes, if that. Same issue though. Pop it off. Pads fall right out. I'm like, fuck, dude. So I put it back on after I put the new brakes, new rotor, all that. Put it back on. I'm like, all right, let me just test this thing to see if that was truly the pads because I'm 99% sure at this point, but I'm also the same person who didn't quite realize that was a thing. So I'm like, let me just make sure. So I put the parking brake on. I put the car in neutral. It starts taking off down the hill. I'm like, all right, yeah, not happening. Disengage parking brake. Well, I'm like, well, we're gonna have to just tell him. Like, fuck, that sucks. Whatever. Like, it would have happened anyway. It's just the difference is I'm not a shop, so I can't go, hey, I'm gonna buy the parts like right now because they're on my shop and you're gonna pay for them. Like, I just don't have the parts, so it just has to be what it is, right? So I'm like, fuck. Move on to the front. Get to the front driver's side. Little issue with the lug nut. At this point, we get it off, but the lug nut's looking real bad, 2 of them. So I go to AutoZone. Letsy drives me there. We buy all the lug nuts they have. They have 4, right? We buy 4 of them. I wanted to honestly replace all 10 because the front ones were fucked.
They only have 4? Like,
yeah.
4 individual ones?
Yeah, you buy them individually, yeah. 4 little lug nuts, yeah.
Why do they... Okay.
I don't know why. Chris, you would think, right? Like a pack of 5
would just sell
or
it
a pack of 4,
yeah.
right? Yeah, no, individual ones. Individual. I don't know. So I buy all 4, right? And I bought a new socket there, a 7/8. So I'm like, maybe I can like tap this over the fucking swollen nut and see if I can get it off. So we go back. I go to try it. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to fit. I'll tap it over later, whatever. I put the driver's side wheel back on, fucking put the lug nuts in. I'm like, all right, man, it seems fine. Go to the passenger side. Man, the passenger side, there's always one, Chris. There's always one. There's always one, you know?
Yeah.
Passenger side, go to pop off the wheel, break all of them loose. There's that one really fucked up one. I tap that new drive over it. It slips. I'm like, oh, fuck, that sucks. I look. The whole thing's rounded off. I'm like, all right. I had to do something I don't like to do, right? With basic jobs, there's a big thing I don't like to do, but it's something Chris does, and we've talked about it before. I had to call on the big guns.
Ooh.
At this point, I'm at a point where I have an idea, but I've never done this before. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy, right? But I know someone who is an expert. I call up my dad.
That's a big, yeah, that's the nuclear option.
I went nuclear, dude. I fucking beep, 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 turn the keys. I fucking hit the button, eject. Like, dude, I call my dad. I go, Dad, I have a lug nut that's rounded off. How fucked am I? You know what he says? He goes, not at all. We got this. He pulls up. He gets mad at me because I had the car parked too close and the wheel was off, and he's like, I can't fit my truck here. And I'm like, all right, well, help me get the nut off first. so he parks his truck. He's no longer mad at me. And I'm like, see that nut? Yeah, it brokey. And he's like, all right, let's try this. So he bangs on a fucking socket. And I'm like, stop this. Goes, immediately slips. I go, oh, we're fucked, aren't we? He goes, nah, check this shit out. We fucking go on the crease on one of the fucking vertices of the fucking, the hex shape, right? Start tapping it with a screwdriver. Just tapping it, just putting a crack in it. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Right? Turns out, Chris, he had a plan.
Oh.
We cracked this fucking plating. He peels it off like a fucking banana. Just fucking peels this bitch open.
Which side? Which side is he opening?
In the middle.
Oh,
bro.
shit.
Dead
Controversial.
middle. He splits this shit like, dude. just splits it, right? Like he's been in this situation before, right?
Like he knows, he's experienced.
Pops it open, looks at it. I look at it now with him. I'm like, oh, look at that. There's like another hex shape under here. Let's try a new socket. Fucking, he puts the socket on and just starts hammering it with the ball peen, right? I watched this socket go right in. I'm like, all right, we got this. We fucking.
Easy.
I start yanking. I'm like, oh my god, I can't even budge the thing. Now these were way over torqued. Like someone went fucking Guten tight and then fucking Guten Tag, bro. Like they went ham on these. So I was having decent luck. What I had
Guten tight squared, bro.
I had like an 18-inch breaker bar, and then I had like a 2-foot pipe I was slipping on it and pulling, and I had no problems with the other ones. Well, not no problems, but like very easy comparatively. This one, I couldn't even budge it. I was moving the car. The car was shaking. So I'm like, all right, Dad, I need you for one more thing, right? I need you to take the nut off. Like I can't break it loose. Now for context, I'm like 5'5", 5'6", 110 pounds. My dad is 5'5", 5'6", 300 pounds. So he just like breaks the thing loose. I'm like, all right, cool. Take the wheel off, pop that off. No fucking problem. It starts torrentially downpouring. Downpouring. So I got Letsy out there with 2 umbrellas, right? Trying to do this. I'm like, no big deal. I did the other sides in like 20 minutes. I fucking got this. At this point, it's probably around, he had just got home and helped me. So it's like around like 11:15. I'm like, all right, I'll still make it to Chris's by fucking like normal time, probably like, or not normal time, but a little later, like 12 or 1. That didn't happen. There's a reason we're recording it at like 3:40. But I fucking get the wheel off. I'm like, all right, downpour, fine. I'm chilling, whatever. Fucking turn the wheel. Start doing the thing, right? Start pulling stuff apart, and get everything apart. Get to the rotor, and get to the fucking torque. Won't budge. I'm like, all right, no big deal. I'm using that little 4-volt doohickey. I'm like, my dad's here. He has his drill. I'm like, well, where's your drill? Oh, here it is. Cool. Put that on. Hit it in reverse. The chuck falls off the drill. Chuck falls off the drill.
Dude.
He goes, dude, no problem. I have an impact. Chuck ain't gonna fall off the impact. There's no chuck.
Yeah.
No chuck to be chucked. You know what I'm saying?
Easy.
He busts out the impact. Hits it. The bit snaps. I'm not making this shit up. Like, Letsy saw all of this. The bit snaps.
Oh my god.
I go, we have to drill it. He goes, no, let's try one more thing. He gives me like this little fucking like little hook. He's like, just try to stick it through the hole in the, because it was a safety bit. He's like, just try to stick it through there, pop the bit out. I'll get a new bit. I do that. He gets a ratchet. He's like, let's fucking do it. You know, put the breaker bar, do all that. Starts turning it. Nothing. He just goes, fuck it. Gets the drill bit right through the thing. Fucking, we drill it out. I pop off the fucking rotor. Put the new rotor back. I'm like, all right, we're in the home stretch, baby. It's downpouring. I am soaked, by the way. My whole right leg is under a puddle. God. Like, it is rough. I'm getting soaked. I'm like, all right, we're home stretch. I just got to throw everything back together. The back together part's usually not that bad on a brake job. It's usually the apart. That's the trouble.
Yeah, because everything's new, usually.
Usually it's just like Legos, right? But getting it apart, everything's rusty. It's disgusting. I'm like, all right, let me do this. So I start putting stuff back together, and I made one little mistake where I fucking grease the brakes before I put them on. I always wait till they're on to grease them, because then you don't make a fucking mess. But I was just rushing.
So fucking goop all
so I'm fucking gooping, trying to put these brakes in. I'm fucking all goopy, and I'm like, I hate this. This sucks. So I'm like, I'm getting goopy. I'm like, I gotta wash the goop off. So I stick my hands in the puddle I'm kneeling in. I wipe the fucking hands off. And I'm like, I get to a point where I'm fucking with this brake bracket. I'm just getting soaked. I can't get the fucking, the hardware on the brake bracket. I can't get the brake in there. I've had no problem with the other 7 pads. I can't get this one pad in. This one pad. Oh, back up 5 minutes. The other problem was the brake bracket piston was seized. So I had to.
Oh my God.
And then I thought it was going to be like,
just throw the whole car away.
I'm
at
like,
this point.
it's seized. Let's just pop it off, grease it like I always do. No, this one was seized. My dad had to fucking heat it up with a torch. Because now it's getting above my head. I can do a decent amount of things, but when we start involving heating things up...
No, this is above my pay grade.
When we start talking about heating things up and like modifying things, even when I did the cobalt, when I did the ball joint, I let him cut them out. I almost sliced my finger in half, but that was because I sucked. So I let him cut out the ball joints. Like, that's his pay grade. My pay grade is I'm just a monkey who turns the wrench and lightly fucks it up. But he heats it up. He pops the thing open. We cool it down. He takes the Dremel. He fucking bores out the hole to make it bigger. Cleans up the actual rod. We lube it, slap it back in. Now we're back to where I was saying, where I'm trying to put the fucking brake in, and it just won't go. Finally, I'm like, that's it. This is strike 3. I'm like, Dad, can you do this? Like, I can't get this.
Like, just finish this thing.
I'm getting
for me.
it's the one last step, second to last step. I gotta fucking put this brake in, and then the wheel can go on. I'm like, that's it. And I'm like, that's it. I can't. I'm like, Dad, just fix this. Dude, watching him struggle, I was real concerned.
It's like, oh no.
Dude, when I expected him to just be like, come on, you fucking idiot. Pop in.
Yeah.
Dude, it took him like 10 minutes. He's like fucking sitting there like tweaking things, fucking adjusting. He's like, I see this shit all the time. Fucking hate this design. Fucking stupid dumbass car. Fucking dumb piece of shit. And he's mumbling to himself.
I love the times when like when you have to call in the big guns, you get your dad to help you with something, and there's a point where like he runs into something that's a little out of his window of experience, or like something that he just doesn't usually like dealing with, and you get to the phase where you're quiet and you just hear him mumbling under his breath. This fucking stupid piece of shit.
With the way my dad is too, he doesn't buy clothes. He wears like the same like 2 or 3 outfits, right? So now his anger's gone from like, this fucking thing won't work, to I'm fucking ruining my pants in this puddle of fucking my fucking $100 shoes are getting wet. Like, he's getting mad, bro. He's getting tilted about this. So I'm sitting there like this with the umbrella, just like, like, fuck.
Flashbacks to holding the flashlight.
At one point, he's like, get the umbrella closer. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like in the rain, holding the umbrella over him, like, don't yell at me. And finally, he hits me with a couple of, fucking 5 what the fuck's going ons, and 3 is fucking stupid things later. It goes in, taps it in, and then he books it. He's like, I'm going inside. I'm done. I'm like,
He just fucking he fades away.
basically. And I'm like, all right, I got this. So I fucking put the wheel on, fucking torque it down. I'm like, all right. Now I'm praying. Now I'm like, I pray nothing is wrong. I'm praying that this just fucking works. And I don't hear noises or nothing. I always have issues with fucking dust shields, but these looked pretty good. I'm like, let me take this for a drive. So I get in, start it, pump the brakes, go drive it. It was mint. It was fine. So dropped the car off to Lexi's dad. He gave us free lunch where he works, and he paid me. I didn't even ask for money, but he ended up paying me, which was surprisingly nice. I honestly feel like I got overpaid in terms of the total cost, because the reason I did this was because it was going to be like $800 to $1,200 to do. Like $400 to $500 of that was the parts, and then the labor was like $300 or $400. And he paid me $150. I'm like, you could have just spent the extra like $250 and had someone who knows what the fuck they're doing do this. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you thinking I'm worth $150 in 5 hours.
I don't know, man. Like this is why call it cold, call it calloused, whatever. This is why I'm not nice to people. Mm-hmm. If I was in this situation and someone was like, yeah, man, it's like they want to charge me $1,500 for this brake job. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Good luck.
Let me know how it goes, though.
Well, what's funny is, what really concerned me is I asked my dad about the whole like inner drum brakes for the parking brake, and I'm like, yeah, these broke or whatever. And he goes, yeah, I've had that happen. And I'm like, all right, cool, it'll be easy fix. So I'm like, yeah, it's just like, disc brakes or fucking drum brakes, right? You just fucking pop the and you take the pads off. Dude, my dad goes, this is what has me worried. He goes, yeah, they're a fucking pain in the ass. I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh fuck. Oh shit. So I went with that to her dad. I was like, hey, by the way, this is an issue we saw. He's fine with it. He's like, no, I get it. Like, he agrees. He's like, a shop would have seen the same thing and just fixed it, but like whatever. They would have obviously been like, hey, we had to bill you this to, fix this. And he understands that I don't just have parts up my ass. So he was like, yeah, it's fine. We'll worry about that later. But I told him, he was like, is it something you can do? And I was like, I said to him, I looked at it and went, oh, it's fucking easy. It's just like the drum brakes I did. But then I asked my dad with that type of confidence. I was like, yeah, it's fucking easy, right? And he hit me with,
no.
Oh, no, it's a pain in the ass. And I'm like, oof. Dude, my morale
just tanked.
Dude, it's like going to the expert and being like, I can bang this out, right? And they go, no, you absolutely cannot. And you're like, oh, fuck. Like, imagine if we went to tile this floor, right? We both were kind of like, we kind of know what we're doing. And then your dad just walked in and was like, you could not do this if you tried. We'd be like, oh, shit.
This happens to me somewhat regularly at work with Alex, where I ask him a question. I'm like, all right, check my logic here. I tested this, and this. So therefore, my conclusion is that, like, this is the problem, right? He goes, No.
And you're like, "Meow."
And then he does like a lesson about like, okay, so this is the way this component works theoretically. When because he's got the fancy degree or whatever.
Yeah. Yep, he's a bit of an engineer.
Yeah, he's got the engineering degree. I'm just a computer monkey.
Yeah, you fucking tap the keys, but that's all you do.
I fucking smash the keys and go fucking kill me now immediately.
But yeah, that was my fucking morning. So
it sounds like it was your morning and afternoon.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. So
I was waiting because the way you pitched this to me at work, you were like, yeah, it'll probably be like a couple hours late or something.
Yeah.
And it was like 11. I hadn't heard anything. I'm like, oh, that's normal. And it's like 12. I'm like, I should hear something soon, right? And then, I was just sitting, and then finally I get a notification at like 1:30 or something. He's like, hey, it should be like around by 2:30 or so. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to hang out then. So I'm hanging out, and then it's 2:30. I'm like,
and I'm usually pretty on time when I say a number. Like
it was like 2:28, and I'm like, okay, still nothing. Still not even like a I'm on my way kind of text. I'm like, maybe he forgot, whatever. And I'm like, I'm upstairs, and I'm like looking out the window. Like, you should be here. And then I get a text that's like, hey, I'm running behind. I'm leaving now. Like,
yeah, dude, I blame it on the holy shower that I took after everything today. We got the food, we drove back home, and normally I don't like just letting food sit. So like if I get takeout, even if I have to shower or anything, I'm like, I'm gonna eat this first, and then I'll do the other stuff later.
Fair.
I put the food in the counter. I was like, we gotta shower. So Lexi and I showered. It was the most godly shower ever. I'm just like, oh yes, just fucking dude. The warm water, not even that I was like cold per se, but just watching this like black soot just drip down you. You're like, what the fuck?
Anytime we have a fire at my house, and I just come in and I smell like a campfire. Like I smell like I was in that fire.
Yes, every time. Actually.
And I'm covered in sweat and like mosquitoes and all this shit. And that shower afterwards, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Now that's a good shower right
That's
there.
a good shower, dude. That's like what makes me... That right there is enough for me to be like, I like society.
Yeah, and I'm indoor plumbing. That shit's pretty cool. When I'm like fucking pouring 900 mosquitoes falling out of my ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Power washing the soot off me.
Yeah. I think the last fire we had last week, whatever, is the drunkest I've been officially. I surpassed Maine.
Yeah, Jordan entered a state because I had a little shindig.
A little bit of a shindig.
Just a small one, just like hanging out with the boys, Like we have, I kind of threw out like the whole, because if I'm gonna have a little function and I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy stuff to drink, and then you can bring stuff or whatever.
It's the right way to do it, yeah.
And normally that's what I would do. I would buy stuff and then have people bring stuff. And I was like, I'm not gonna buy anything.
You are kind of hosting it.
Yeah,
so
like I'm probably not
gonna buy stuff.
I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm not really gonna drink a whole lot, whatever. And because I kind of have to like babysit a little bit. So I'm just not gonna do that. And if you want to drink, just bring stuff. And like from what I heard, it was like one of our friends was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring a couple of things just like for me. And then he showed up with an entire cooler. He showed up with a whole liquor cabinet.
That's what shook me. That's what got me. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I'll just bring a couple of things.
He said a couple of beers.
Yeah, he's like a couple of beers and like just maybe a bottle of liquor just for like shots and stuff. But I'm not going to go too crazy. And he showed up and he goes, I have a cooler.
A big red fucking
I'm like,
cooler.
you have a what?
It's the fucking like Coleman coolers.
Yeah, so
giant
it was like,
cooler.
he was like, hang on, I need help. And he fucking had two of us. I had a cooler. And one of our friends had like a box with bottles and shit in it. Like a comedic amount.
Yeah.
So,
and then I didn't know what was being brought. I thought it was a couple beers, so I just brought up the hard liquor I had, which was just like fucking Tito's, Captain Morgan, and some Fireball. I was like, I'll just bring this. So I had that.
We were just by the fire, and like there was a point in the night where, because there's particular people that I'm like somewhat worried about, a particular person. Our Bud Light loving acquaintance
Yeah, he can be a little worrisome.
He's got a low alcohol tolerance. He's a lightweight.
And he's a very outgoing drunk.
Yeah, so, like, outgoing in a literal sense. Like,
he leaves.
He takes, like, 2 or 3 shots, and he just takes off.
Yeah.
And
not, like, by car yet, but, like, just
not
runs
by car,
away.
but, like, he'll just, like, he'll fucking disappear.
Yeah.
And
Bro despawns.
Yeah. Like, and we'll notice that there's, like, kind of a lull for a minute. We're like, hey, where did he go?
Yeah.
And we have to go fucking look for him. He's trudging through the woods.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
yeah.
get back
He's foraging for berries in the woods and
He's
shit.
like fucking returning to his primal instincts. Like he's fashioning a club.
He's devolved.
He's like, no, come back here. And he looks at the fire and he goes,
Starts beating you with a club.
He starts hitting people with the club. So,
Hyperbole,
that was, he just takes off. So, like, he's always the issue. Not an issue. I don't want to use that terminology.
No, I get what you're saying.
He's the, like, focus of my, like, okay, make sure someone has an eye on him.
Yeah.
Just to make sure he doesn't hurt himself, especially if he's running around in the dark.
It was pitch black out. Like,
Yeah,
by the time,
running around in the dark, like, you could hit a
floodlight. Nothing.
Like, hit a hole in the yard and fucking twist your ankle and die.
Yeah.
Or
something. Just smash your fucking head off of something. Like, yeah.
Just, like, just make sure that he doesn't do that, doesn't kill himself. And usually everyone else, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not too worried. But, like, then especially Jordan, I'm like, Jordan's, like, a fairly normal drunk.
Respectable gentleman of society.
He's definitely, like, a very similar drunk to me. He just falls down more. He's, like, very kind of serious and can be, like, in the moment.
Yeah.
And there was a point in the night where I'm like, Jordan's being a fucking problem right now. He is an issue.
I think what Letsy said to me the next day, she said, I think you may have spent more time in the grass than you did by the fire.
He did. Jordan, there was a legitimate moment that I remember where I was turned around, like facing away from the fire, saying something or like checking on something, and I saw Jordan enter my frame of vision and fall like flat on his face.
So funny enough, you talking about our Bud Light bestie, there was a point in the night where he did despawn, and we all kind of panicked, but I was still very drunk. So I just hear Chris go like, hey, where is he? And we all look at each other, and I go, I got it. And I turn around, and I just fall off the chair trying to go get him. and he ended up just being by himself in the dark on Chris's porch, like drinking a Mountain Dew or whatever, like a Sprite.
There was a point where I was like, he hadn't said anything for a while because he was standing in the dark just looking at the sky.
Yeah. Bro was infatuated.
He was just looking at, I'm like, hey, are you good right now? What's going on with you?
Yeah.
So it was like, Jordan, I don't remember if this was at the end of the night or like the Monday after where you're like, oh man, I took a lot of falls and it's real, my body's hurting.
Yeah. So what had happened was the cooler bringer, he was like, hey, check out these different things. And I'm like, oh, it's a variety. And I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, oh, I got to make sure I don't, like, sleep on Chris's fucking floor tonight. So, like, I'm here. It's, like, 5:30. I got to get what I want in now. So I just started doing shots 1-for-1 with him. And I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. But, some of it tastes good. Some of it tastes like shit.
I will say, he is a dangerous person to go shot for shot with.
Yeah.
I would say, like, the only person who's more dangerous is, like, me or our other engineering pal.
Yeah.
It's like we both have like heightened body weight and also like fucking insane livers.
Yeah, so I go like shot for shot. I'm like, oh, you're trying that, I'll try that. Oh, you're trying that, I'll try that. Like, we're just going back and forth. I crushed like a Miller High Life, and I'm like, yeah, I'm chilling. And then it starts to get to like the buzzed phase, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting buzzed. And I distinctly remember looking at Chris and going like, yeah, I'm still like pre-main. And then I just remember nothing.
That was the last thing you remember.
It was just like we were all sitting at the picnic table on Chris's patio, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still pre-main. We're all joking. We were sitting in at that table, and we joked about not being able to see through the fucking umbrella that was unfolded, and then all of a sudden, I just remember being on my back looking at the sky, dude, like darkness, flashes of some of the stuff that happened. Like it was.
Jordan disappeared, and I asked like, hey, where's Jordan? And someone goes, yeah, he's laying down in the grass over there. He said he just wanted to lay down for a while.
What's crazy is if there's one thing someone should know about me for the context of this, it's that I don't like the feeling of grass against my bare skin. So here I am in like shorts and a t-shirt, so plenty of skin exposed, just touching the grass. Something was up. Like you can tell.
Something was going on.
The fact that I was willingly laying on my back in the grass, something was going on. And yeah, it was a pretty good time. And yeah,
Some of our friends didn't have as much of a good time.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He's been on the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, Nelson. He got a bit drunk.
He drank a good bit, yeah.
And he was like, man, I'm just tired. So he's like,
take a nap.
He was in his chair. He was in the chair just by the fire.
Snoring.
And things was like quieting down. It was like getting later, and
I was starting to sober up, as was Cooler Bringer and the other guy.
Yeah, we were just all like kind of chilling. It was like entering the chill end of the night phase where everyone's like sobering up, ready to go home, and or like getting ready to go home or whatever. And he's sitting there, and he's like in his chair, and he's sleeping. So I'm like, okay.
Literally dad mode. Like,
yeah, like dad at the family function.
yeah,
And or he had his head back, and because this is important to the story, the positioning, and all of a sudden, out of a dead sleep, he just projectile vomits
all over our friend,
all over our other friend,
yeah.
and then he just took off running.
Made it worse for himself
just
by
made it
doing
way
so.
worse. So
yeah. So then I had to. Luckily, Bud Light Boy had extra clothes for some reason.
I think that was the only vomit incident at that.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like we're down on vomit incidents. Like New Year's was a.
But it was also a cataclysmic vomit incident too.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. So we might be like by our quota, we're low. But like the volume of vomit was definitely up there.
It was a higher volume of vomit, sure, but less individual vomiting incidents.
Yeah, because New Year's had a handful. Oh, and I guess Letsy did kind of like spittle on the fucking porch. She kept spitting up vodka because she was like, "Let me just do a vodka shot."
Spittle.
Oh man. But to your point before about me the next day, it was on the that was on a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
That event. So it was on the Sunday, but I talked about it on the Monday, where like. I woke up at home. I'm like, man, I don't feel hungover. I feel like tired because I'm tired.
In pain.
But then I looked at my palm and like where my thumb is was just purple. I was like, what the? I was just like, what the fuck happened? And I realized I'm like, oh, it's from catching my fall every 13 seconds.
I fucked myself up.
Yeah, and I'm like, I was surprisingly not sore. I was just kind of like dazed. I was just like, all right, my hand's kind of bruised. My hip's a little sore from like constantly like tucking and rolling. Like I did that sick ass backflip on the couch over here. You didn't even think you saw that. It was when I went downstairs with Nelson and Letsy. I like leaned on the couch and I leaned too far and I was like, I gotta commit to this. So I did like a backflip over the couch and landed on my feet. Nelson was like, how'd you do that when you're drunk? And then threw up. But
is what it is, man.
Yeah, I was doing like gymnastics in the tree over there. Like yeah, it was just like it was a night. It was something. It was something else.
Yeah, it's a rare occurrence when I go, man, Jordan's a problem right now. Yeah. Jordan's a problem. And I think he got the vibe that he's like, I'm kind of being a problem right now. And that's why he just took off and just started laying in the grass.
Yeah, that's what happened was I was like hanging around everyone. And then there was this weird dynamic that I won't get into because it's probably like a little more private. But there was the three of us that were drunk were just doing weird shit, like just kind of fucking around and shenanigans.
There was team babysitter as well. So.
Yeah, so there was team drunkards, which was me, Bud Light Boy, and then the Cooler Bringer. And I guess technically Nelson, but he slept for the majority of the shenanigans. And then there was babysitters that were like...
babysitters, me, Alex, and one of our other friends.
And I wholeheartedly realized, like, man, I can see Chris and some of our other friends and Alex kind of like trying to deal with this, and I'm not in any way helping. So let me go isolate myself. So I kind of just like laid down, hung out, and then one of the engineer came over, hung out with me. We were just kind of chatting. Like I wasn't fucked up to like not be able to make decisions, but I was just very like outspoken and like quick with it. So like I kept just doing things and like very, very, like you said, always falling over, always like touching something and like rummaging with something.
Just getting weird, like very monkey-ish.
Yeah, like climbing the tree and stuff. So I was like, let me just ease into this one, and I'll let Chris deal with the people who are like poking the fire and fucking spilling embers everywhere. Like I'll let Chris deal with that.
Yeah, and, that's
yeah.
We had team babysitter. We had bathroom team.
We had bathroom team, which involved the engineer who was on babysitter team. Yep, he had to switch teams at one point.
Yeah, he was on team babysitter, and then he was like, it was basically just walking people down the stairs. So because like I don't want anyone to fucking fall and break their face open.
It doesn't help that those stairs are also shoddy as fuck.
Rickety as hell.
Yeah. Like, what's funny though is like somehow my muscle memory from just going up those stairs a bazillion times between making this studio, cleaning out all the rooms, like I was totally blurred vision, drunk, and I'm like, I got this, Mr. Engineer, and I just like perfectly made it down the stairs.
Yeah. See, I mean, you practically live here.
Yeah.
My before the function, when Jordan got there. When Jordan showed up, I'm like, oh shit, Jordan's here. And my dad was outside because we had food. He was making the food.
Yeah.
And he was outside, and Jordan showed up, and
Your dad hit me with a remark. He was like, who invited you?
Yeah, we were like talking for a little bit, and then like I step away to go join like everyone else, and
I don't follow.
and Jordan's still like in this conversation, and he was like standing there for like 45 minutes talking to my dad. Yeah. And I went back over, like, I joined the conversation again. I'm like, hey, well, what's going on?
You like your new friend?
Yeah, I was like, oh, you like your new friend. And he referred to Jordan as his adopted son. So.
Chris was just like, oh. And walk away. Go hang out with the boys again.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to take off, I guess.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob with Grandma.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like eating the milk and cookies, and you're like, I guess I'll go to work now.
He's
like, all right, have a good day. And you're like, all alone in a cold world. And you shut the door. You bust it back open. You're like, I'm sorry. That's literally, if you can think of this interaction, that's it right there. Like, look up the SpongeBob fucking baby episode with his grandma where he doesn't want to be treated like a baby. That was the Chris and Jordan dynamic. I was Patrick. Chris was SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how it went.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, that's kind of the energy that it gave off. Oh, man. That just fucking occurred to me thinking about it. But, yeah. I was just talking with his dad for a while. And then I made it over to the party. And, yeah.
Yeah, things were getting weird. Jordan was falling down. And then, we all, like, took a glance at the time. And, like, it's fucking 8:30. Like, it's not... It is not late at all.
What is so funny is just I just don't remember anything between shot for shot, sitting down, the first buzzing kind of kicking in, and then darkness. I'm convinced that someone just hit a light switch and it was dark out. Like that's it. Like it was dark.
This actually happened to me the night of my graduation. So this was after we recorded the last episode, the day after. I graduated. Right. I got home and I was just chilling for a while. And then I went out. I think I got Pancheros.
Hell yeah.
And then I was like, time to celebrate, I guess.
Have
a little one-man party.
Drinking whiskey. Got the disco ball from the ceiling.
I was drinking whiskey. I was listening to music. I was singing. I'm having such a fucking good time right now. And then I was like, oh fuck, I got the hiccups.
Oh,
so I started getting the hiccups. I'm like, okay, time to get rid of the hiccups. And when you have the hiccups, the issue is your diaphragm is irritated.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking calm this diaphragm down.
Start punching it.
So I was like, what I did is I got like face down, and I was like holding my breath, and I had my fist on my lungs basically, and apparently I fell asleep like that.
What the fuck?
I was like this, so my bed is like, vertical, and I was like horizontal on the bed, so I was like wrong way on the bed, feet out.
Kicking the feet.
I'm pretty sure in just underwear, just like with my feet out, and I just fell asleep like that. And I woke up in the morning at 5 a.m. All the lights were still on. I had made it under a blanket. I had made it right side.
Oh.
I flipped around, and I was under a blanket, so I'm like, okay, I made it.
That's weird how that shit happens.
I made it, and then I was like, when the fuck did I go to bed?
Dude.
Because that series of events that I just described, the hiccups thing, did not remember that at all. Yeah. I was like, I was like singing, and then it was 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's weird. And then I sat down at my computer. I'm like, oh, that's what happened.
You looked at your computer and you had a thing that said like how to fix an irritated diaphragm. You're
how to remove your diaphragm.
I've always wanted one of those experiences where you wake up and you're like, oh man, I don't remember last night, and then you just go to your phone and there's like video clips of you in like a different state. You're like, what the fuck?
It's video clips of you involved in like a paramilitary organization, like taking on like just slaughtering innocent civilians.
Oh my god.
It's like, oh my, I did it last night. Oh my god, I joined a terrorist organization.
What the fuck?
I joined the Taliban? When did this happen? I don't remember this.
Oh, shit.
It's like the most extreme version of the fucking Hangover. Like,
Yep.
put a piece together what happened. Oh my god, I fucking blew up an orphanage.
There's a photo of me in New York with like a fucking street performer who's dressed as Spider-Man. I'm just beating him to death. He's just a bloody pulp.
There's a video of you just smashing his head off the pavement going, "You're not real! You're not fucking real!"
My friend Chris said you're fake. And then there's another video of me swinging through the city.
Playing and you're saying something to the camera, but you can't hear it because the Spider-Man theme is playing through the speaker. It's like a... And then there's a video from like an hour later, and you're like in the desert with an AK-47 in like an old Toyota pickup truck,
Hanging out with the Taliban.
just speaking Arabic to these people
I'm perfectly fluent.
somehow. And then there's like from like another hour elapses, and you see like the next video is you getting like the 10 commandments from God. Like, oh my god, what is this?
I'm building the ark.
He's assembling this big ass ark. He's getting all the animals on there.
It's made of the Yaris. It's a giant Yaris.
He's welding a bunch of Yarises together.
Oh my god. And then the next hour markers are sinking with the ark in the ocean.
The great flood occurs. The ark is fucked up because it's made of Toyota Yarises, so it falls to pieces.
It's made of tinfoil, basically.
And then there's nothing else after that, and you wake up and you're just like, no clothes on, all of your possessions are missing, but you're somehow in your apartment in your own bed.
Oh my! Even the stuff in the apartment's missing. It's just a mattress on the floor.
It's just
it looks renovated. I'm
There's
like, what the fuck?
like your walls are missing. It's just studs.
I'm sitting in a framed apartment. I'm basically in a framed apartment, just like what the
You wake up and there's like a squirrel in your in your apartment just licking your face or something because the windows are gone. So he climbed up and was getting in there.
Oh my god. That's fucking wild. I'm telling you, if we ever get that CGI budget, we're making it happen.
If we ever get that CGI budget.
We're making it happen.
Yeah, if anyone wants to greenlight us, give us like...
You can see the type of shit we can create.
I mean, like, we're a small enough crew, and we're like, you know, give us like $2 million, which is like a nothing budget for Hollywood.
No.
Give us like $2 million.
We'll make it happen.
We'll make something happen. Okay.
Something. Not really gonna say what or
I
like
can't
how,
tell you
but
if it's gonna be good.
what it'll happen.
But just give us the money. Give us like a year, and then we'll come up with something.
I will say this: it'll be better than our Christmas special.
That's not saying much.
Exactly.
It will be, at the same level of quality, or maybe better than the Monterey video.
Yeah. It will be quicker though. We'll get it out quicker with that kind of budget. We'll get it out quicker
Maybe. So we'll hire someone to
piece it together.
slog through the footage.
We'll have Alex do it, even though he's never edited a day in his life.
Yeah. Hey, pull up Premiere real quick. Put this together.
He just makes a masterpiece, like master class editing, like just fucking.
Like it's beautifully color corrected.
He's got like the perfect sound design, like perfect fucking mixed, like just juicy audio, dude. He's got fucking Dolby Atmos pumping, like.
How the fuck did you do this? Well, I took all the time I was relaxing, and I put it
Converted
into
to something.
Instead of relaxing, I was editing. Oh, so you were editing 400 hours a day?
Yeah.
Damn.
Bro fucking transcends time with his relaxing.
That's just how relaxed he gets, you know?
Yeah.
He's a fucking relaxer.
I still think the power button theory is the most accurate Alex thing ever.
That is the most insane shit I've ever heard. That he just like, he goes home and he's like, all right, time to sleep. Okay, time to wake up.
Yeah. Relaxing for him is just like compiling code in his head. He's just like, beep, 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 boop, beep, 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 beep. He's just...
sitting there, you just hear like the fans ramp up, like
He's exporting.
and it's just like his fucking cooler is. He doesn't want to overheat, so that's why he's relaxing. You can't move too much because he'll overheat.
But he still has a hard drive, so you hear. You shake him a little, and he's.
You shake him, and eventually, if you shake him enough, you hear like. Oh, you're gonna have to replace that soon.
I think your drive has a knock.
You're gonna have to replace that. Your drive has a rod knock.
Is he hot swappable? That's the question.
I don't think so.
You put the wrong fucking OS on there. You just have like the gay Alex incident.
You put a Linux distro on him, and he just wakes up. He's like, nothing fucking works.
r/Linux.
You know what's one of my favorite things, and this is a note I'll leave off on. There's a subreddit that was, I think it was like a Linux. No, it was a ThinkPad based subreddit. I think it might just be the mainline ThinkPad subreddit, and in the related subreddits like that they compiled on their sidebar, there's Linux on a ThinkPad, another subreddit, and then the next one is r/autism. So I think that says a lot about the community.
ThinkPad enjoyers.
The ThinkPad and Linux community.
They compiled that. I mean, they're not wrong. And you can go in that order, too.
Like, yeah, you're like, I feel like if you're on either one of those subreddits, ThinkPad or Linux on a ThinkPad, you're like, there's a decent chance you're on the spectrum, at least somewhere on the spectrum, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that happens.
Is what it is, man.
Anyway, I think that's our show.
I think that's our show for today.
Anything else? No, we're done. Wait, we're canceled. What? What the fuck is he saying?
Are you seeing people again, Jordan? Are you seeing people that aren't there?
Probably.
Are you seeing Spider-Man over there?
Yeah, you show me a spider hog.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.
Alligator. Anyway, you can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and the RSS feed, all linked below. It's also Instagram, TikTok. Reach out to us there. There's Synapse Misfire at pm.me. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, and death threats. And, yeah, YouTube comments, YouTube video, Spotify video. We've been around the block, all right? You know who we are.
Are there any other video platforms that exist?
Vimeo? Is that a thing still?
Yeah. Find us on Vimeo.
Dude, if we ever make it to Vimeo, I'm quitting.
I think you have to pay to put things on Vimeo.
Explains why no one uses it.
I mean, production.
I was gonna say a lot of
like short films are on there.
Our employer uses it for a lot of that stuff, actually.
Yeah, like a company. It's a company thing because they could just get like a license and be like, "Oh, we can lock this behind a password or lock it behind a paywall or something."
Basically, yeah. Like,
so
here's
that's
a private
kind of the
video
idea if you don't want content that everyone can access. Because like a YouTube unlisted thing, anyone who has a link can get it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, as opposed to a unique thing. Anyway,
we will not be on Vimeo.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. Deuces.